Thank you for tuning in. I am Bam. Yes. I'm Timby Terrell, and this is the American Dysfunction. This segment, I want to share with you my personal story, which kind of led me to this point with the American Dysfunction. It's kind of like in two parts, so I'm going to try to break it down to, it's kind of simple in 6 minute segments as much as possible. I am an adult survivor of sexual abuse. I was sexually abused from the time I was probably like 4 until about 13. I actually got pregnant, by my molester, product of incest because he was a family member. And it was very hard to deal with. My family pretty much abandoned me. They treated me like, it was a plague. My mother made some very rash, ill statements, toward me towards that, and it really hurt me, and it would devastated me because here it is, you figure your mom, this is the person that no matter what loves you, will love you unconditionally, will embrace you and help you get through it. But my mom, she couldn't, for whatever reason in her life, and I'm assessing that it happened to her, she just didn't get pregnant or have any kids, through it, that, she couldn't deal with it, because of the memory and the pain, from her. So I was pretty much sink or swim at 15. My father, who I love dearly, is a Vietnam vet. So, that mindset of his is like really spazzed out. So he didn't know what to do with it. So my family pretty much abandoned the situation, excuse me, with me and for me. So here it is at 15, I have a baby and I'm in this world by myself and I have no clue to, how I'm going to survive or, how I'm going to maintain or live. I was never like a real troublemaking type of female. I normally always stayed to myself and kind of walked in my own light and did my own rhythm. And, I constantly tried, to be a part of, the family. But eventually it just got to be to the point where I didn't want to be bothered, not even with them because I just felt like they were treating me, as if, I was some type of doormat. And there's only so much of crap I'm going to put up with. And I had to deal. So, eventually was going through this emotional trauma, you know, mentally being abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused. You tend to act out and lash out. I didn't act out too bad. I just kept a lot of stuff inside, which caused me to get into some crazy simple ass relationships because I had no clue to, what the direction was for my life or what it was that I needed to do for myself. So it ended up me getting into later on after having more children, crazy relationships. I got into this long-term relationship where it was the same thing. He emotionally, mentally, abused me to the point where I was like, you know what, I gotta go. And, all hell broke loose because, it became physical and it was not the type of thing that I wanted to subject my children to. My whole thing with the children is family orientation, have them educated no matter what level of knowledge they were on, bring them to a point where they can understand, life for themselves. And I just felt like my family, because I overcame that obstacle of being strong with dealing with sexual abuse. I never really had a true counseling session with anybody. All the counselors and therapists I did speak to were like, oh my God, you're so fabulous. How did you overcome this, that, and the other? God. God bless me, and I thank him, and I'm grateful for, his wonderful works in my life that kept me going and kept me motivated, and kept me on sane ground. So, I just want to say to all of those out there, you are not alone. If you have endured, sexual abuse and been traumatized, and you feel as though nobody else understands. Yes, somebody else does. I understand. I've been there, been down that road. I've learned how to overcome and be positive. There's so much, if you look at the world, there's so much so many negative people out there throwing out chaos and chaotic stuff that, I keep my mind positive, and I stay looking towards God and, and prayer and meditation as much as possible to keep me on a humble trail. And I'm grateful that he allowed me to come on this journey that he put me on, because it has let me see other people, in a different light, and have a better understanding. And it's just not people that, oh, you see and meet and greet. It's the whole world, because the whole world is affected by something. The whole world has been traumatized or plagued, with something, in our lives that, either they're still struggling to overcome or will eventually overcome. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's a serious matter. It still goes on today. Quite as kept at homes, there are children, who are running around who don't know who their mother or father is, due to those circumstances, on how they were brought and conceived into this world. And, you have kids out here with mental health issues, where not even just kids, you have adults out here, with mental health issues, and we're trying to wonder why, Mackie just want to wear a wig and dress like a girl all day long, and he a boy, and he a nice looking boy, but we don't understand what's going on inside his life, and where he's been and what he's been subjected to, in his circumstances. So, this is also, a plug, saying don't judge a book by its cover. You really need to take the time, if you really care, to open up a book and read the pages. You may not be able to help, and that's fine, but just be aware and be acknowledged that, there's nobody's perfect. Everybody has something, in their lives that they had to struggle and get over. So this has been, a segment with me, Timmy Terrell, and peace and blessings to you. Thank you.